I have a strong urge to tell everybody it's 8:15 and all schools are running on time. Thanks for coming here today. United Way is very special. And if we had to talk about what does United Way do, it's we help. That's what United Way is here for. We fund so many different agencies from around the county, and not only do we help, but we help local. All of our money here stays local, and the money that you donate, I mean, nearly over 90 cents of every dollar goes right to our local agencies to help out, and that's really why I'm a part of United Way and have been so for many years. And it's a tremendous group to be a part of, and we thank you for all that you do running your campaigns and helping out and donating. The United Way also is helped by a lot of folks that volunteer their time, and that is a board that oversees the United Way. If you are a board member of the United Way of Logan County, would you please stand? Please thank these folks who donate a lot of their time to help us out. So without further ado, we're going to move on, and so we have a campaign chair that we're going to introduce, and Dave?
Sure, and we are getting ready to introduce our campaign chair for 2019. You know her, you love her. She's a Bell Fountain High School graduate. She's now the president of Thomas and Marker Construction, Allison Marker.
Well, I was telling my friends here that I really had set aside some time last night to study my notes and so I could give you a nice TED Talk and, you know, really be great and charismatic, but my two of my three children were like, we need help with homework, so, you know, my attention got elsewhere. But, so I have some notes, so bear with me, I might do a little bit of reading, but thank you. It's an honor to be here as your chair this year for the 2019 campaign. We have a lot to talk about, but first I want to share with you my why this work is important to me, why it matters to me, why this day, this kickoff, the next 4 months matter to me. So my interest in social issues and social services dates back over 20 years ago. When I was about 17, I was in Columbus with a friend for a cheerleading competition. We would do a lot of those. We were downtown, and we saw lots of homeless people, so that was kind of new to me. I didn't grow up with that around here in Logan County, but there were a lot of homeless people just sitting around. Some of them were flying signs, as they say, you know, the I'm homeless, feed me kind of thing. But some of them were just sitting there and, you know, just looked really terrible, lonely, sad, dirty. And that was just a really new experience for me when I was that age. My friend at the time said something to me like, I don't understand why they don't just get a job. Why don't they just get a job? You know, like it's that simple. And I knew, even though it was a really simple question, that the answer was really complicated. So I began to think really hard about that. That just really struck me, and it stayed with me ever since. I ended up going back to school. We had a research paper that was due shortly after that, and I wrote a paper on it. I did a presentation on homelessness, and I've been working in that area ever since. And it was homelessness specifically that really interested me. These people had nowhere to go. They had no home, nowhere to relax and feel safe. And if you just imagine that for a minute, I mean, my guess is that most people here have always had somewhere to go. Somewhere to feel safe, a shelter, somewhere where people are that care about them. Just a really, really basic need that these people didn't have, and sometimes for years. So I went on to study this kind of stuff. I studied psychology. I wanted to learn about people, why people were the way they were, why they thought the way they thought. I wanted to study their behavior. I studied women's studies and sociology as well in school. I wanted to understand how people interact, how they influence each other, how they fit together, how everybody fits together. And throughout my undergrad experience, I worked as a counselor for a sexual assault survivors group in Butler County. I encountered I thought it was going to be when I signed up for it. Undergrad women who were being sexually assaulted that I'd be meeting with in counseling. But the people that I ended up talking to the most were homeless women who were out there on the streets being assaulted. And, they were in precarious situations. They were staying with people that they didn't know. It just really stayed with me and struck me. I went on to get my master's in social work. My first placement as a social worker was at a men's homeless shelter in downtown Columbus called Friends of the Homeless. And I continued to serve these people. I then went on to work for a pilot program, which was a long time ago, and I'm proud to say that services have come a long way since then. But we had special funds to house chronically homeless people into supportive care environments. So they would go straight from the camps down by the river in Columbus. We would go, we would get them, and we would help house them in supportive housing. Then we would have to help them learn how to live, learn how to shop for groceries, how to cook, things that they just hadn't done in so long, or maybe they hadn't even done their whole adult life because they were in prison before. We had to help them learn how to ride the bus system, how to, go get an ID so they could get a job, how to take their medication, how to take care of themselves. And then I continued my journey of direct service in community mental health and homelessness, and then I ended on going on to be a psychotherapist in private practice. I loved my work. I loved showing people that I saw them, I saw who they were, I cared about them. I saw their beauty, I saw their intelligence, I saw their value through their relapses, through their psychotic episodes, through their darkest days, through their failed attempts to get better, through it all. And I always come back to that question from my friend 20 years ago. Why not just get a job? Why isn't it as simple as people think? And I reflect on this a lot still. What makes those people different than us? Racism, sexism, poverty, all of these chronic issues, mental health issues, lack of access to health care, years and years of it. And here's the thing, those people didn't ask for it. Many people who live in poverty grew up in poverty. It's a cycle that's hard to break out of. Most weren't set up for success like a lot of us here were. When they were born, they didn't have parents who were encouraging them in school, who expected them to graduate from high school, who expected them to go to college, who maybe saved money for college. But were they really any different than any of us? No. Did they deserve any less than anybody else? No. Were they less intelligent? No. Did they not want to work hard? No, that wasn't it. And I found that one of the biggest differences between what they had and what a lot of us have is just resources. Place to live, food, really basic things. So when I came to Thomas & Marker in 2012 and I left that world of social services, I wanted to continue to find ways to help people, even if it was more indirectly. So at Thomas & Marker, we do a lot of things. We collect coats and gloves in the winters, and we take those to the homeless shelters around here and in Columbus. We do the United Way Community Care Day in the spring. We do Stop the Bus, and of course we do the Workplace campaign. And the beautiful thing about the United Way campaign is that it's totally organized for us. It's all set up for success. Dave tells us exactly what to do. We've got that secret sauce. And you get to open it up to your employees. They get to be a part of helping other people too. And that feels good to everybody in the organization. It's easy. United Way does the work to make sure that our money goes to the right places that need it the most in our community. So I'm a competitive person. And I'm going to announce our goal in a minute. And of course, I want to beat that goal. But it's not about me. These are actual needs in our community. These are programs that help your families, your friends, your kids' classmates. And when people have access to the right resources that they need, food, shelter, healthcare, education, we all move forward together. It's an amazing honor to be in front of you guys this morning. Homelessness is my passion. It's what really tugs at my heart. But everybody's different. Everybody has different interests, different things that pull at them. And United Way supports all kinds of these programs. So I hope we meet our goal, but more than anything, I hope everybody sees the power of coming together for the greater good. So thank you for being here. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for committing to working inside your organizations to have a really great campaign this year. Oh, and we have a group of people that are on our campaign cabinet this year that we'd like to bring up and recognize for their help that they're going to be doing over the next several months. That would be Danielle Anderson, who couldn't make it today. And the rest of you that could come up as I call your name. Mark Boyer, Tammy Gump, Barb Harpst, Abby Miller, Mark Robinson, Katie Rickner, Casey Wagner, and Michael Wilson. Please give them a round of applause. All right, so as you guys know, our goal last year was $1 million, which we beat. It was a big year. There were a lot of people involved. The $1 Million Roundtable, we had a lot of leadership. It was a really, really great year. So this year, our goal, again, is $1 million, which I think we can do because we did it last year. So we didn't want to push it. We didn't want to push anybody harder than that. We know that we can make this goal again. So we just have to do what we did last year and a little bit more.